Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on Happy RC Flyer here on YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about the RadioMaster GX12, and some of you guys have known, if you've been around the channel for a little bit, that I've been playing around with this quad, and I've got to put some flights on it. This is the GIP RC Vapor D5. It's a 6S quad. It's a 5-inch, and it's kind of a mix between a racer, and it does have the capability of getting a little bit longer flight time, which I haven't been able to do because it's just kind of hard to stay out of the throttle. So, but it's been a lot of fun. And this is equipped with the DJI 04 Pro. And then, of course, here I've been flying on my Goggles 3 by DJI, and just a really clean view. Totally a lot of fun. But if you'll notice, this has a little itty bitty antenna on the back of it. And this one comes with the 2.4 gigahertz ELRS, or Express LRS. And you guys probably haven't seen much along the lines of Express LRS on my channel. I mostly fly Team Black Sheep or the TBS Crossfire, which runs on 900 megahertz. And I haven't had any complaints with it or problems. But I guess I was just kind of intrigued to try a 2.4. And so I bought this quad used off of a buddy. And I've been pretty happy with it so far. And of course, you know, when you buy a quad that's ELRS, you need to get a transmitter that's ELRS. So what better excuse? I had my eye on this one for a while. And I'm not one of those guys that just goes out and buys the latest and the greatest unless, like I say, I don't want to be the first one in the water unless I'm sure there's no alligators. And so I waited to hear kind of some opinions on some of my friends that are using these, and been really hearing some good things about it. I was kind of holding out because I thought maybe they would come out with a dual band on the TS16S. TX16S, the RadioMaster, the full-size transmitter with the touchscreen, and I have been using that quite a bit, and I really like that radio, but I wanted something a little more compact. I've been messing around with the Pocket. I haven't really got to do a proper review on the Pocket radio, though you've seen the unboxing and sort of some first thoughts on it, but I have the TBS Crossfire module on the back of that one. And this radio is pretty unique because, if I understand correctly, I believe it's the first radio that has come out, RadioMaster, that's come out with dual band. So it runs on 900 megahertz and 2.4 gigahertz simultaneously. So the 900 megahertz from Crossfire that I've been using is just a mono band, just a single 900 megahertz band. And then a lot of the Express LRS, at least, I don't know, this radio's been out for a number of months, but prior to that, I think they might have had a, I don't remember exactly, but they do make this is called the Gemini radio, which means dual band simultaneously, and they do make a Gemini module to fit on the back of the TX16S, and I kind of wanted to get one, but then I kind of held out, and really glad I held out to get this radio. I've been really happy with it. This video is going to be about the first look at the RadioMaster GX12, so we'll give you a quick look at this thing. I've been exploring some ideas on some different cases, but for now we're just using this case, and I've been pretty happy with it. It protects it really well. It's got a little pouch up here that you can put some things in. It's a little zip up kind of a mesh pouch, and then it has this little kind of a Velcro nylon type strap or cloth strap, and there's the radio, and it seems to be everything that it's cracked up to be. I mean, I like the looks of it, I like the ergonomics, I like the functionality of it. And I've probably got maybe 10 flights with this radio and this quad, maybe a few more, give or take. I haven't really been keeping count, but I know it's easy to go through packs on this thing and run it and want to run it again. So been really happy with this radio, and of course we're going to talk about it in today's video. So if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing. Subscribing helps grow the channel, and we're here to help grow the hobby. If you like the unsponsored, unbiased perspective on things, which means I don't make any money on the videos, I don't make any money on the products, I don't do any type of affiliate links, I have a job and work, and I just do this RC stuff just as a hobby, strictly as a hobby for fun, and I try to share some of the fun of that with you guys. So I'm not here I'm not incentivized to encourage you to buy some certain products or tell you to do some certain thing. I'm just here to share in some of the fun that I have, and hopefully that maybe you guys will see something I have and you'll be like, hey, that might be fun, or maybe you already have one. It might encourage you to get out and fly and use what you already have. So I don't always keep up with the Joneses. I do try to show some stuff on here if I get new products, and typically, at least up until this point, the majority of the videos on the channel has been like product review type stuff. So if you want to see more like FPV content, if you want to see more just general flight content, let me know in the comment section. But All that to say that I don't make any money on any of the videos. I have a job and work, and so I make just as much money whether you buy any of the products or not. And nobody's feeding me or incentivizing me under the table or behind the scenes to tell you that some product is good. And I like to keep it that way. I'm not really interested in doing any sort of sponsorship. I just like to keep honest reviews and be able to keep freedom of speech here on this channel. And so if you like that, make sure you take the time to subscribe. Most of my viewers are not subscribed, and that'll help the channel grow. That'll do me a big favor, so I appreciate that. We're just here to share the fun. Like I said, we're not trying to build the channel up to monetize it. I could turn on monetization right now if I wanted to. I'm not interested in that. Just like to share in the fun and grow the hobby. So if you like that, make sure you're subscribed. Hit the big thumbs up button at some point in the video if you like this kind of content. It helps me to know that you guys like it. It tells YouTube that you like this video. Of course, I mentioned about the comment section, but I always like to hear from you guys. If you have a question or an idea about something that you see in the videos, feel free to drop that in the comments. Maybe there's some information I left out. Maybe you're well versed in drones or in this particular product, and you have a better idea or a different idea, and I welcome that. So this is a place of free speech. It's all about the hobby. I like connecting with you guys. If you do get stuck on something, you need help troubleshooting something, I definitely don't have all the answers, and sometimes I miss comments, but there are a lot of cool people in the comment section that help answer questions, and that's the cool part about the RC community. So, and if you're one of those people that answer questions of other commenters, I appreciate you, and thanks for taking the time to do that and share your knowledge. So also share this video with a friend that you think might enjoy it, and of course, let's get into it. So as you've already seen, it comes in this kind of a cool case. It tells you what's inside the RadioMaster GX12. And of course, here on the front, or this little barcode, they tell you that it's ELRS. It's called ELRS BLK-M2, and I don't believe that they offer any variations of the RadioMaster. So most of your RadioMasters, you can get them with the 4-in-1 internal module or the ELRS module internal. This GX12 only comes with ELRS because it's the dual band. So it does have a module bay on the back if you want to use TBS, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in the video, but basically there's pretty much only one variation. You can only get the ELRS version. So on the back of the box here, I'm going to read off some of the features just real quickly. Dual band Gemini crossband express LRS transmitters, integrated folding band antennas. That's talking about the little antennas on the back, which I really like. They're really compact and they just swing in there together. I think they do hinge, so they hinge forward. They do not hinge backward. So if you're operating like that, you can tilt them up a little bit. I guess I'll show it that way. And so that's kind of cool. And then you can move them around different places. And then when you go to put them away, they just fit right there, really nice and compact. So it has that feature. The antennas fold together, replaceable switches. We'll talk a little bit more about that down here, but there's these universal panels. This is how it comes from the factory. And then as we get in I guess it's in here, I'll show you some of the other switches that you can interchange out. So it'll give you some options if you don't like the stock setup. Let's see, SMA ports for customized antenna installation. We might talk about that a little bit later on, but you don't need that unless you're doing like some long range type stuff and you want to put out some more power, or you want to have like directional beam type antennas. We can talk about that later, or you can drop a comment or a question if you have one. The OLED display, which has a little display screen, and this one is not touch screen. So some of my buddies, I told them, I was like, hey, I'm going to get the GX12. And he's like, I'm not interested in that because I really like the touchscreen. So if touchscreen is important to you, like the TX16S, the larger radio with the touchscreen at the bottom, if that's important to you, then this radio is probably not for you, because this is like a single color screen and it's not a touchscreen. So internal 512 megabyte flash storage. This also does have an SD card slot. Trying to remember where I've seen it. I'm pretty sure that it has one because I think I remember seeing it earlier. Let's see. Yeah, it's not in the back. While we're back here and have this open, I did purchase this separately. This is the RadioMaster 5000 milliamp Li-on pack. It's not a LiPo. This is a Li-on pack. They do make a LiPo pack if you want, but I've really been liking Li-ons. And so this has got 21700 batteries in there, and of course it fits in there. This is a rechargeable pack. It does not come with any batteries, but I guess that depends on where you purchase this from and if you get the battery package as well, because they have an option to run the 18650s rechargeable in the back, or I opted to purchase the pack separately. So I'm trying to remember, because I'm pretty sure that I saw an SD card slot. So Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it had an SD card slot. Most of the radios do have an SD card slot. USB Type-C connectivity with smart balance charging, so you can charge it through the Type-C. It has one up here on top. That's probably the only one. I know the RadioMaster TX16S has a couple plug-ins, but this one just has one up here. So that's probably your charger and data. Then it talks about the specifications. It talks about 6 customizable RGB buttons, and those are right here across the front. There's 3 on this side, 3 on that side. You can customize different colors and different functions according to what you want. And I think the last thing is a powerful and effective cooling system. And I can vouch for that. Back here you'll see cooling fan. There's like little heat sink, and this is like aluminum, like little aluminum CNC heat sinks in the back. It has some little air intakes along the side. You would plug your module in here. And I think I have a module. Actually, we'll go ahead and plug that in right quick so you can see kind of how it sits. I have a little Crossfire module here. I have not flown it on Crossfire yet. I was just tinkering around with it a little bit the other night. Everything I've done on it so far has just been flying this quad on ELRS because this is already set up with ELRS, and I have this radio for ELRS. So this is called the Nano module. And if you have any questions, you can drop them in the comment section, but they do make different modules for different frequencies. So like Team Black Sheep, this is a TBS or Team Black Sheep Crossfire 900 megahertz module. They call this a module, and basically it takes the signals out of here on these pins and feeds it into this and transmits on 900 megahertz. So when I put this on here, it has the ability to run Crossfire or ELRS 2.4, 900 ELRS simultaneously, ELRS, or just the 900 megahertz TBS. So hopefully that's not too confusing, but if you're going to get a module for your radio, this one takes what they call the Nano module. And so the Nano module is a little bit smaller. This is the same module actually that I've been using on my Pocket, my RadioMaster Pocket, to fly my 900 megahertz TBS quads. But this one here, it just fits in here. I know the handle's a little bit in the way. We'll put the handle like that just so you can see how it fits in. And you do want to make sure you have it sitting in there right. It can feel a little finicky sometimes. You don't want to force it. You want to make sure you have it in the middle. And let's see, there we go. And it clips right down in there, and it should feel really solid. It shouldn't flop around. It should sit down flat, symmetrical. So this, even though it's the Nano, it's a smaller module, it does stick out a little bit more than the module that fits into like the TX16S. And maybe I'll put a picture of the TX16S on the side of the screen so you can see the difference. That module fits in a different way. It actually clips into the radio. So because this is a little more compact radio and this is pretty full, they just put the module on the back, and as opposed to clipping into the back, it just sits on top of the back. And then of course that module you have to buy separate if you want to use it. But most people that are going to get this are probably not going to do the module on the back. But I really like TBS 900 megahertz, and like I said, I've had really good results with it. So something to consider. Let's see. We'll go into the fact that this has some really cool stick features. They're foldable sticks. Hopefully you can see that okay. I might put some pictures on the side of the screen. If it's not, we'll see in post-production. But to flip those up, you just grab it, and they are spring-loaded, and they have really good springs on them. So you're not going to like accidentally fold them over. I know some of my friends have said, oh, I wouldn't want folding sticks because, you know, you might be flying and accidentally hit it and it'll fold over on you. That's not going to happen with these, just the way they are. Maybe, possibly, after years and years of use, if you had like, you know, your springs wore out inside of there or something, but they're really strong springs. And it actually has to physically pull out probably about a 1/4, maybe 3/8 of an inch to be able to fold it over. So if you don't have it pulled out all the way, you can't fold it over all the way. But that is kind of a nice feature. I normally have those big foam joystick protectors on my TX16S. You've probably seen those before. I think I did a video on those, and they work on different radios. You could put those on here if you wanted, but not necessary. So super cool. They're very solid. It has the CNC gimbals in there. I don't remember. Let's see what they're calling those. I don't know if they're the AGO1s. Trying to see if I can see it just quickly. They're called GX01s, and they're called 1000 Hertz 3D digital CNC Hall effect gimbal. and they're of course mentioning that it has folding stick. So they're the GX01. So these are specific to this GX12 radio. So, but they are the CNC aluminum gimbals, and they do feel really good. I like the tension. I haven't adjusted any tension out of the box, but I already like this one a lot better than my TX16S or my little Pocket. And so after you fly the Pocket and then you fly this feels a whole lot better. It's just a little bit larger radio. I've been having trouble being able to balance that Pocket radio. On the Pocket, I kind of have to hold it like this, and so I'm kind of tucking my pinkies underneath of it, and I'm a thumber. So if you're a pincher, I think this one will be good. I've heard some people say if you're a pincher, you don't want to get this, and they mostly say because of the fact that these switches are a little hard to reach, but you have buttons here. Let's go ahead and grab those switches out since we're talking about it. And in here, you'll see that I have a Gemini receiver. Those don't come with it unless you get the package that comes with it. I did purchase that separately, so I don't want to mislead anybody. There are some things in this pouch that are not coming from the factory. Here are some other panels for the top. We'll go ahead and pull those out of there, and you can see kind of the difference. Basically, it's to eliminate this little dial, this little roller dial here. And let's see, am I doing that correctly? Maybe it goes like, oh my God, I'm wrong. This one goes here. So basically all it's going to do is remove this little roller dial. And of course you can move your toggle switches around. If you want your button here or vice versa, you can switch that around. So that just gives you the option to eliminate that if you wanted to. So I think I'm going to leave it like it is. I don't know what I'm going to program or assign to those roller dials yet, but we'll see in the future, because I may start flying some fixed wing on that. So in here we have a little Type-C to USB cable that's wound up with a rubber band. What else do we have in here? We have some little plugs, and we have some springs and a little wrench, little Allen wrench. So I'm assuming that those are different tension springs or maybe replacement springs for your gimbals. And then these are little plugs, so if you just want to do away with all the switches and just put plugs in there, if you didn't need the extra channels, that's an option as well. Here are a couple extra toggle switches. So these are 2-position toggle switches. Actually, one is more like a spring-loaded, and I don't think it has any spring-loaded. All these 4 switches on the back are 3-position each, and so you could replace them to just 2-position. There's a 2-position toggle, and then of course this one has a spring, similar to like what a typical airplane transmitter would have, a trainer button or a trainer switch on the back. So I think that's about it. We do have this little thing here, and I don't know what that is. Oh, that's a little screen protector, so we might put that on there. I don't know how tough that screen is as far as scratches and things. I do have one friend who broke his already, damaged it, busted it. And he said he was carrying it around in a bag just kind of with some other stuff, and being jostled around, it just got broken. So I think he had to send it in to get it replaced, or maybe he bought a replacement. I'll have to follow up with him. Maybe I'll put that in post-production on the side of the screen and just do a little type out as to what he had to do to get it repaired. So that's something to think about. It's not a real big screen, but it is, you know, sizable, and it is kind of up there, and it kind of does stick out, you know, the way that it sits in the radio. So I really like the feel of this radio. I wish I could let you feel it through the video, but unfortunately I can't do that. I don't have that ability. But there's just something about the weight distribution, and I guess most people call that ergonomics. Sometimes I think of ergonomics as the design of the radio, but I guess a good part of ergonomics, having a radio with good ergonomics, is that it feels good in your hand, it balances well, the weight is distributed well, and I really like this. So sometimes I feel like the weight, I get kind of tired of the weight on the TX16S, and then with the Pocket, it's really lightweight, but I don't know that the importance is so much being heavy or lightweight as much as it is how it fits in your hand. So it just feels really balanced. It doesn't feel heavier on the top versus the bottom, or one side versus the other, and maybe it feels like it's got some adequate weight out towards the handles. So I don't know if this radio has extra weight added. Let's see what this is under this grip. Okay, there's nothing under the grip, but I assume that you can just change out the grips there. And I've actually not had that off before. Now on the RadioMaster Pocket, the rechargeable batteries are placed under the removable grips. So I'm not sure what it would be, how the the weight would feel so good, or how it's balanced out so well. But I really do like that. If you ever get the chance to pick one up and test it out, I mean, it feels better than probably any other radio that I put in my hands. So it made me really think about setting up my airplanes with Crossfire or ELRS, and just kind of ditching Spectrum altogether, which I've been kind of, you heard me tooting that horn for a while because I've not been too happy with Spectrum, and their 2.4 gigahertz. I've been having some issues, and so pretty much how I feel that the Spectrum thing works is a lot of guys are really cool with Spectrum, at least airplane guys are, some helicopter guys, and Spectrum makes it really easy to get bind and fly models and program them. You just download the profiles, and then you pick out the title of the airplane in your profiles, and you hit bind, and then everything is all set up. Your flaps, your retracts, your rates and gains and stuff like that is already set up with the Spectrum radios, and that is really nifty. That's really nice, especially for beginners. It's nice. I enjoy it. Hey, if I can get out at the airfield and fly, and I spend my evening flying instead of programming, I'm all for that. But where I had a problem was one of my friends, he's been using Crossfire for a number of years, and he's flying his airplanes on it, and he said, have you ever stopped to read your flight logs and see if you have any holds or frame losses? And I said, no, I just fly. I've not had any issues. And at the time I was flying mostly scale type stuff, so like Cubs. I really like Cubs, if you haven't figured that out. And Cubs, you're normally just flying big gradual turns. You're coming in and doing scale touch and goes, and just a lot of easy flying. And if it disconnects and comes back in, you're probably not even going to notice it if you're just kind of cruising around real slow. Well, ended up, he told me how to read my flight logs, and I got to watching that after my flights, and I was like, I had 2 H's. It says 2H. What's H mean? And he's like, well, H is a hold, and that's when your radio disconnects from your receiver vice versa, however you want to put that. And he said that basically you lost control of it. And he said, now it comes right back. It comes back so fast, usually, that you don't even know you lost connection. And started making me think. And then some of the flights I would have like hundreds or even thousands of frame losses, and I wasn't flying out. It's not like I was flying FPV with it. Wasn't flying far away. I mean, flying at a local airfield like this and just doing nice long approaches. It wasn't like right over the runway, but nice long approaches and coming in and making it look like a scale airport. And seeing those hundreds and even thousands of frame losses, it got me thinking about a different radio system. So to my knowledge, I haven't lost an airplane because of radio disconnect or Spectrum disconnecting from my radio. Or from my receiver, my radio disconnected from my receiver, like a fail-safe incident. But I have had fail-safe instances, sometimes where it'll disconnect for a couple seconds. And I'm not really a 3D pilot. I can jerk around on the stick some and make it look cool. Same thing with a helicopter, but I'm not really any comparison to any aerobatic pilot. But I've had some scale flights that if I were flying aerobatic, I probably would have lost the aircraft. So it's made me think twice. All that to say that I've been looking for another option for quite a while, and been thinking about doing TBS, but now with this dual band setup and compact, and depending on when I get this video out, hopefully it won't be too long to get it edited and get it out, but I believe this radio currently is anywhere from $180 to $200, and that of course depends on where you get it from. I did purchase this directly from Buddy RC. And so I've been really happy with it, and I checked with them a couple times. It had been out of stock. Their first shipment came in, and then it was out of stock. They sold out real fast. And so I was like, man, I need to get one of those. So then they came back in stock, and I grabbed one up. And, of course, that's where I grabbed the receiver from as well. Now the RadioMaster rechargeable battery pack, the 5000 Lion pack, I purchased that from Amazon. So I'll put a link for that. I'll put a link for Buddy RC for the radio. I'll put a link for Amazon for the radio, and I'll put a link for the battery packs. I don't think, last I checked, Buddy RC still didn't have the RadioMaster rechargeable battery pack. So that's too bad. I wasn't able to get one from them, but I was able to get one from Amazon. It came in pretty quickly, but been really happy with this. So like I said, around $180 to $200 for this radio. It's a 12-channel radio, has dual band capabilities, 900 megahertz, 2.4 gigahertz, and it's not just redundant. So if one connects, the other one picks up. It's simultaneously, and I've been really intrigued with that. So I haven't used that ability yet. But I've just been using the 2.4, as you can see. I mentioned already this little 2.4 antenna here, and been pretty happy with this. So I haven't really done any type of range testing with this on 2.4, so I don't know how that compares directly with Crossfire, and so I doubt that I'll put out a video on range testing anything. It's just the beauty of the beast with YouTube is that sometimes it's just difficult to prove that you're following all the guidelines and you're crossing all your T's and dotting all your I's. And it's hard to keep all the Karens happy when you're posting stuff on YouTube. So I tend not to post a lot of stuff that might be considered questionable, or that I would have to try to prove without a doubt that everything was followed by the books, because you just can't see that. The camera points one direction. If you're showing FPV footage, you can't really show your OSD on your screen and all of those types of things, and it just gets to be too much. So I doubt I'll do a range test. If you have questions about it, I'm sure I can try to answer some of your questions. But I have been really impressed with Crossfire on range testing, but I have not tried the ELRS 2.4, so something we'll think about in the future. But up here, just to continue to do the tour of the radio, we have the headphone jack, we have a little DSC, I don't know what DSC stands for, but it's a little, what do they call those, like a 3mm, looks like another headphone jack, but really cool, has a good feel in your hands, has good feels on the sticks, the gimbals. Your trim settings are all right here. You have model button here, system button here, return, page right, page left, telemetry button. You have these little dials if you need dials right here. And you have these little dials back here, which is cool. I like that feature if you want to run a gimbal, or, you know, put it on your flaps, or you want to do like your gyro gains or something like that. Those are cool. And then of course, all these 6 programmable buttons right here. So let's go ahead and turn it on. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, if you'll be able to. Welcome to Edge TX. Isn't that cool? We all like to hear that sound. And on here, I have it set up for the Explorer. Let's switch over to the Vapor D5. There it is. I don't know if you can see it there on the screen. It says Vapor D5. It's a really easy to read screen. I was out the other day, a few days ago. It was a really sunny day. It's kind of in the evening right now, but it was a really sunny day and really bright out, not a cloud in the sky. And I was trying to see the screen. I was like, man, I really hope that brightness turns up. So I went in the menu. It took me a minute to find it in the menu because it's got a lot of options, and went in there and found it and turned it up. So I do believe it's on 100% or it's on full power. So I don't know how well that'll show up, but it is very easy to see out in the sunlight. So it's a black background, white letters. You have your trims on the side. You can turn, I don't know if we'll be able to show you this. Might show you in post-production a little video clip of going through some of the home screen options. So you can put it on this and you can actually see where your sticks are, where your gimbals are, and your trims, your other channel buttons. You can scroll through here. Again, you can see if your channel output's like a monitor screen. There's another monitor screen, another one, channels monitor, and then back to your home screen. And then of course, it has the typical menu functions of going through the model button and going through the systems button. So you have 2 of these little push and hold buttons, and I think currently have my arm switch set up on this one. So you push it in, when it lights up, you know you're armed. And I don't know if you'll be able to hear that. The little fan's kicking on. Put it by my microphone. It's not very loud. You can just barely hear it. It's sort of like a laptop, maybe almost quieter. And you'll be able to feel a little bit of warmth coming blowing out past these heat sinks. So it is a pretty warm day. It's, I don't know, I think it's like 90 or something like that. So it is pretty warm already. And I think I have the radio set on full power. It shouldn't be transmitting anything because this does have dynamic power setup. So anyway, there's your programmable switches, and they're just set up for white right now. I don't have anything programmed to them, but radio has a lot of options. I do not believe that it came with a lanyard. That's too bad, you know. Come on, RadioMaster, you can do better. But I don't believe that it came with a lanyard. I rarely use a lanyard, especially I find myself hardly ever using a lanyard or wanting to use one with this radio. It just feels so good. I can't say enough about how well it feels in your hand, the balance of everything, and of course I'm a thumber, and I have no problem reaching these switches, but it does have a little bit taller portion up here from your sticks, and it's a little bit wider, and the switches are kind of recessed. If I were to do anything, I would probably just move some of these toggle switches up front and make them a little easier to reach. When they're recessed here and then they're up a little bit from the joysticks, they are a little bit harder to get to. But if you're a thumber, it's not a problem. I think maybe if you were a pincher, you could still program them on these and run them with these fingers. So it just depends on what size hands you have. I know some guys will run different size sticks on here. They'll run taller sticks. I don't think anybody runs shorter. These are fairly short sticks already that come factory, but they're sharp on the ends, and they feel really good. They're not too sharp, but they feel really nice. So I've been really happy with it. Again, gives you a little night screen, a little smiley face with some Z's, putting out some Z's is going to sleep. But been really happy with it so far. It does have this little handle that you could take on or off with a couple Allen screws on each side. And I think that's about all it is that I can share with you so far. I've been really happy with it. The sticks feel good. The balance feels really good. If you're on the fence about getting one like I was for a number of months since they've come out, wait no longer. Go ahead and grab one up. I think you'll be really happy with it. I like this a whole lot better than my TX16S. And like I said, if the touchscreen thing is a big deal to you, then this does not have a touchscreen, of course. But if compactness, it is smaller than the TX16. It's not anywhere near the size of the pocket. The pocket is much smaller. But if you're looking for a little something bigger to get your hands on, something that's got those good gimbals, these are the GX01 gimbals, but the AG01 gimbals, you're probably, what are they, 100 bucks, 200 bucks or something like that. I know it about doubles the price of the TX16S if you get the AG01 gimbals with the TX16S. So this one comes with it. They don't have a model that has plastic gimbals, so it just comes with the nice gimbals. Good buttons, easy to read display. Gemini, which is the dual band, that was kind of the main reason why I got it, but been really happy with the feel of it. So it comes with a nice padded case. It's a zip-up case. And maybe we'll show you a little bit of flight footage here, ripping around a little bit. We'll get us another flight in before it gets dark. I've been really happy with this quad. If you're on the fence about getting one of these, go ahead and get it if you can. I don't think that they're offering GIP-RC is selling anything or shipping anything to the US. So it might be hard to get these unless you find a used one or buy the parts and build one or find like a US warehouse that has it. It'll probably be a minute before I get the review video out on this, but having the number of flights in that I do already, this has tons of power. It's actually not that loud if you're just kind of cruising around. If you get on it, it's loud. You're not going to fly this over your neighborhood and punch around and race around without being too noisy. But this one has a GPS added on the back. You can get them with or without the GPS. This has the 04 Pro model on it, and I've been really happy with it. So tons of power. I have had and been flying, one of my first FPV quads was the DJI race drone, or the DJI FPV race drone. Many people call it the potato. And that's a really great quad to start off on because it's got the safety modes and sport mode. And then, of course, you can unlock it and do full manual. And after flying something like that in full manual and then jumping over on something like this, which I've had some stepping stones in between, like the Oasis Fly 25 or 2.5 and the Oasis Fly 30, the Flywoo Explorer, some of those. So there's been a lot of stepping in between. But this thing flies so much better than something like the DJI FPV race drone. The potato quad. It's just flies lighter weight, it handles better, it just comes factory with a really good tune on it. And this is not really supposed to be a review video for this, so let's put this down before we get too sidetracked. But I am really excited about that. Maybe we'll throw some footage in there of flying that on this GX12, and maybe you'll consider getting one if you don't have one already and you need a good radio. This is something to consider. I feel like it's priced really well, around the 200 buck mark. And has a lot of cool state-of-the-art features. Again, it's one of the first radios to come out with this. One of the first RadioMasters. I know there's some other companies that do 2.4, 900 megahertz, but with the ELRS, those of you that are messing around with FPV stuff, fixed wing or quads, this is your ticket. So I've been enjoying it, had a lot of fun with it already. Wanted to share it with you guys. Maybe we'll do a more in-depth review video later, but that's pretty much what I have to say. So thanks again for tuning into this video. Again, remember, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that big like button if you didn't do that already. Drop a comment or a question. I want to hear from you, and share this video with a friend. Thanks for watching this one, and we'll catch you in the next one. Let's go fly.